You said earlier that you had a blood test, a test that got physically sent to Greece for the results.
Yes.
It's the same thing a person that we've talked to earlier today said. Why are tests like that? First of all, why do we have to send them to Greece in order to get that done? And why, if they tell us that much, why aren't they more common around here?
Well, I will tell you the test that goes. I have several tests I'd love to highlight. The RGCC Onco Count is they just take your blood and they can identify circulating tumor cells. People say to me, but everyone has cancer cells every day. But we should not be able to harvest them out of your blood. The immune system should kill them. And they should not have markers for a certain type of cancer on them. They should not be replicating and growing in your blood. Once that happens, there's a breakdown in that phagocytic process where the immune system goes and kills those cells. Anyway, there is a test in the United States. It's called Cell Search. It is by a subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson. And that is the test that has a CTC that you can get here in the United States that is covered by insurance. But to get that test, you have to be suspected of having metastatic disease. Well, my goodness, if you get a positive on the Cell Search CTC test, you've got a super big problem. And you can't go to your doctor and say, I want a Cell Search circulating tumor cell count, because you have to have had cancer, first of all, or you have to come in looking so bad that they figure it's spread all over already. And when I spoke to the people, I believe it's Jameson Corporation, the subsidiary of Johnson & Johnson, when I spoke to them, they said, oh no, our test is not early diagnostic. We only find, it's for breast, colon, prostate, we only find it once it has metastasized to another organ. So the technology's there. We have it in the United States. Our sensitivity is not enough. I don't know why that is, but the test here is not very sensitive. The one in Greece is sensitive. There's another test that a simple blood test, a nagalase level, that runs about $85, $90 that every doctor could order. Nagalase is an enzyme that's put out by cancer cells and by viruses. So if you do have, and it's proportional to tumor burden. So a simple blood test, you go in for your physical, you get you get a CBC and blood sugar and cholesterol. Get a nagalase test. If it comes back and it's high, your doctor does need to rule out that you don't have Epstein-Barr, mono, or some sort of viral thing. But if you have, and that's ruled out, it's not a viral problem, and you have cancer, you have a high nagalase, so you've got a cancer issue, and then you will know to go further. Another test is amazing is the OncoBlot. They test for something called the ENOX2 protein, and only cancer cells have an ENOX2 protein. So if you send your blood to OncoBlot, that test is more expensive. It's about $850. But let me tell you, one diagnosis of cancer can financially devastate you. I can speak that from experience. Just if you work, you can't go to work. You have to buy wigs if you want a wig. Just the pain and suffering, the deductibles, the co-pays. It's all the time going for all these scans and appointments, not to mention all the toxic therapies that are thrown at you if you don't know any better like I didn't, and that's the approach I did, can be very costly. But if you get a positive OncoBlot test and they find the ENOX2 protein, they can tell you what type of cancer it is, if it's one of the 27 major types of cancer. I was working with a lady about 3 weeks ago. She had gone to, was working with the nurse, and the nurse said, let's check a nagalase level, and it came back high. And so then she went to another physician that does integrative stuff and is a member of the IOICP, and he said, let's check an OncoBlot. Came back positive for ovarian cancer. Well, this woman has 2 small children, and what a blessing for her. She went down to MD Anderson, and they can't find the tumor yet. And so I just told her, I said, you know what? You're exactly the type of person I wrote this book for, because you found it so early. Hope, the odds are that you can beat this with very gentle, non-toxic therapies. And the people at OncoBlot have people many times get the test to convert back to negative when they have the motivation to make a lifestyle change. Because we know cancer is a disease of toxicity and deficiency. The cells are toxic, we're deficient, something causes that toxicity for the mutation, and you end up with cancer growing. And why not find it early? Because we know through the study of epigenetics that cancer is lifestyle related. But we don't have the motivation to make the change.